3D Boxing is here with Fort Worth's own, my fellow Fort Worthian, Funky Town, 817, Emmanuel Tennison. It's great to have you on. February 11th, you headline a card in Irving, Southern Junction. How's camp going? How are you feeling?
Man, camp's going great. I feel great. I'm in great shape. I'm ready for the war that's ahead of me and all the tests that's coming. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling inspired, and I'm just blessed. I'm feeling blessed overall.
You were supposed to fight fellow Fort Worthian Ben Gourmet. He fell out due to an injury. Undefeated guy, 7-0. He's got a WBC 4-round belt. Really, really good fighter who I know you know well. Is there a little disappointment, a little letdown after knowing that he got injured and won't be able to fight on the 11th?
Yeah, it's a big disappointment on my end. I was ready to show the boxing community and the boxing world that I can step up to them levels to fight some of the best, so I can be the best in the city at first. I want to take the city so I can keep moving on to the next level. So yeah, it kind of hurt me a little bit. I was really excited to step up to that challenge.
Obviously you've sparred, Ben well, right? What do you think of Ben, and how would that fight have gone had it, and is that a fight you want in the future anyway? Like, okay, it didn't happen today, or this fight, but it will happen in the future.
Yeah, I feel like Ben's a great opponent. He's one of them people you can't slack on. Don't underestimate him because he is coming to fight. And man, I was just ready for the war. I was ready to put on a good show because I knew it was going to be a good show. I knew at the end of that one somebody wasn't walking out the same way they walked in. So it was a test. I was ready for that. I actually studied for that test. That's one I studied for, and I was really putting in the work in preparation to really achieve and do what I needed to do for that test.
You come back. The box rec says your opponent is Angel Gomez, Gomez from Dallas. Is that official? Is he the opponent? Is that who you're getting ready for now?
I guess if that's his name, I guess I'm just ready to fight at this point. It is what it is. I'm ready. That's what they say. I guess that's his name. That's all I know.
He actually fought Ben about a year and a half ago. He fought him pretty competitively. He was kind of, Ben won the last 2 rounds clearly, but the first 2 rounds were kind of close and, awkward. He was awkward, and it took Ben a minute to get him figured out. Is this going to be a 4-rounder, or is it still going to be a 6-rounder?
I'm thinking it's a 4. I think they broke me down to a 4-rounder.
Okay. So you don't know much about it. You don't know much about your opponent then.
No, not too much. They sent me his name and a couple of more options, and I was like, hey, let's go. I'm ready. Let's rock.
I want to get into that because you've been pro for less than a year. We were just going over your resume off there, man. You don't turn down fights. We just heard you made your pro debut. If you go to our website, one of our top prospects to watch from Texas, Sammy Castaneda, who's I think 9-0 now. You made your pro debut he's from the Rio Grande Valley. Really good 140-pounder. You fought him above your natural range. Well, what was that like? And did you know who you were fighting at that particular time?
No, actually, it's a crazy story how I ended up in that fight. So a little background on that fight. I had gotten a lot of trouble that weekend before. That weekend before, I was at my old workplace and I was fighting. I was actually fighting in the club a lot. And I think I had got jumped that day, that weekend, that Saturday. Kendrick called me that Sunday and was like, hey, man, time to get out the way. You want to fight? And I was like, all right, cool. And he was like, you fighting on a Thursday. I didn't know nobody information. I didn't know no names. I've been out the gym for about 2 years. And then I was like, hey, let's take the fight. I'm with it. Let's go. Because I need to change everything that I have going on. I need to change my view and my perspective on everything that's going on. So I took the fight. I got there. I seen the dude. I was like, man, hey, we're here to fight. This is what we do. And we fought. And then afterwards, I kind of looked him up after the fight, and I checked him out. I was like, oh, shit, he's really one of them good ones.
He's a really, really talented prospect. A really good fighter. Yeah. You took that at what, 2 weeks notice, you said?
No, I took it on a week notice. Like
I got the call. Notice.
Yeah, I got the call on a Sunday, and I ended up stepping in the ring on a Thursday.
Given Castaneda's status now, knowing a little bit better who he is, he fights at 140. But is that a fight like you'd want again? Like I think I could, give me a full camp. Let me get in fight shape. I could do a lot better in that fight.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I take it again. I meet him on his level. I meet him on his ground with his terms and conditions. I mean, he's a great guy. Don't get me wrong. He's a great guy. You know, we contact. You know, we speak every now and then. We motivate each other as we're going through this career. But yeah, I surely would take that on level grounds, on even grounds. Yeah, I take that.
Yeah, shout out to a guy Ofino, Sammy Cassidy, a great guy, friend of the program too. I really like Sammy. Then you come back, you get a win in Houston over an undefeated fighter named Devon Mims. Then you take on Julio Sanchez out in California. He's
Yeah.
a Thompson Promotions prospect. What's his record now? 9-0, 8-2. He's got a similar record like that.
Yes, sir.
Talented prospect. You've seen him on Thompson Promotions card. Did you know who he was? And like, was there any hesitation to take that fight?
No hesitation at all, man. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know much about him. I watched one of his films and I was like, "Hey, let's go." You know, I'm not backing down right now. I'm trying to get my feet wet, get my tables turning. So I went and took on the challenge. But I learned a hell of a lot through that fight. Like I learned the levels to this boxing game. You know, I really learned the levels to it. I kind of it got my feet wet the way I needed it to be able to climb it the way I want.
Then after that, things start to change for you. Iron sharpens iron, and you're in the ring with really good fighters, and that's going to make you better. You come back in October in Frisco on that Texas Boxing Hall of Fame card that was headlined by Tony Lopez and Henry Arredondo, right? Really good card, packed card, and you walk in the ring with a record of 1-3, right? And that kind of puts an impression on someone's head. Like, okay, this is kind of like a B-side fighter. And you go in and you look super impressive and get the knockout. Talk about that fight. And do you think people were underlooking you and overlooking you and underestimating you because of your record?
Yeah, I think so. I think they just looked at the record and assumed, oh, I was some kind of bum fighter, or I'm just gonna be an easy walkover. But to me, it's kind of like, all right, I gotta get this. I gotta get this. You know, my coaches instilled into my head what we gotta do, the plans and the percentages. I learned about the little 500% that I need to be and achieve. So I can't let you come in my city in my backyard and do what you think you're gonna do. You know, so it put the pressure on me. And then the crowd, man, it was a lot of respective names out there. You know, it was a lot of respected names, a lot of respected people. And so I really just had to look at myself and get myself together, look in the mirror and let myself know I can do it. It'll be okay. You know, just have fun, fight my fight, relax, do what I gotta do. Let's improve the records. I'm going through the rain, you know, I'm in the storm. I'm in there with some of the greats. I'm with some of the uprising greats and future prospects. So it wasn't nothing left after that.
You get a win there. And I remember being at that fight. I'm sitting ringside. I'm turning around looking at the other people. I'm like, wow, that guy's 1-3. Like, where did this guy come from, right? And you'd only been pro a handful of months at that point, right? Like 8 months after your pro debut. You stayed busy. Then you get another fight against another undefeated prospect up in South Dakota, right?
Yes, sir.
Deontay Walker, how did you hear about that fight? Again, you're supposed to lose. They want you to lose, right? That's why they got you in there. They want their undefeated guy to win. You go in there, you beat him up. Talk about that fight and how you got the call to go fight in South Dakota. Could you even find South Dakota on a map, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about that fight and how you got the call and what went on there.
For that fight, I remember Kendrick calling me saying, "Man, we got another war battle for you. You know, he's a young kid, he's a young prospect, he got the age, he's ready, he's coming to fight." And so to me, I kept looking at it as in, "Hey man, hey, I'm telling myself, let's go. You know, we back down from nobody. Like I always see Canelo tap his chest and say, I got it. You know, fight with my chest is everything. And I have a saying to myself, either I leave with my shield or I leave on it. And so I kept that in mind state. I knew the young guy was coming to fight. Dante Walker, he's a great fighter. Don't get me wrong. He has excellent power. He hits. You know, he's coming to fight. He has a mind state of a good fighter as a young good fighter as well. And so I just really went up with the mind state is, hey man, I'm a Texas guy. They're in South Dakota. You know, Texas is known for Texas. You know, if you know anything about Texas boxing, you'll know about it. So I went up there with the intent of having my name ringing all the way from the Midwest to Texas. And so I did it, put on a good show for the people.
you got the win. And I was talking to Sean Brewer, who's a prospect from Austin. He went into a Thompson promotion called upset a hometown fighter, and he said he's in the locker room with the B-sides, right? And they're already accepted their fate, right? Like, are you when you go in there and you fight him, and are you in the locker room with the B-side fighter, and those guys are just there to take a check? You're like, no, that's not me. I'm not. I
Yeah.
didn't come all the way out here to lose. Like, I'm not losing. Like, do you have a different vibe than the other people in the B-side locker room?
Yes, sir. You can clearly tell that I'm not in there. I'm not supposed to be in there with them.
Yeah.
I'm not regular like them. I don't have the same mind state as them. Even I try to keep it to where my ambiance and I walk with the walk of a champion, with the walk of, hey, I want to be one of the best. So I won't even let you talk to me in a specific mind state. Especially in a time of war. Nah, man, I won't let your presence. If you have a presence of negativity, or you feel like, hey, man, I'm just coming to collect the check, but I don't even want a conversation with you. I don't want it. I don't want you to be around me. I don't want you breathing on me. Because I don't want none of that to rub off on me, because I'm coming for
Negativity is
no,
contagious, isn't it? Like that negativity, that
man,
defeatist attitude is contagious, man. Keep it away from. I don't want to be near it. Like
at all.
it's like a virus.
Yeah.
Keep it away from me, man.
Yes, sir. Like, I try to stay in my own zone, and if I see a fighter a little shake, I give them a little words of encouragement. I try to play music that touches your feelings, that makes you want to go get it, that makes you want to fight, makes you want to be a better fighter, stepping into the ring. So just I don't like negativity. I know where we're coming there for. I know I'm on the B side, but I feel like, hey, that's just words, it's just letters at that moment, because I'm coming to upset. I'm coming to bring the upset. And I'm coming to fight.
Now you're not going to be the B side on February 11th, right? You're headlining the card in your hometown. Well, not far from your hometown, right? In Irving. Is there a different kind of approach when you're in here now? You're expected to show out, like you're expected to put on a show for your fans. Is it different mentality and a different preparation than going into enemy territory where they're expecting you to lose?
Yeah, man, it's totally different, because, so, in all honesty, I came in prepared. Like, I was supposed to fight Ben. And I knew that was going to be a balls to the wall and hands down war. May the best man win. So I've been preparing for the war, but now I'm still preparing for the war, because, like Achilles, in order for Achilles to be the best, he had to stay working, had to be the best. So I kind of try to mimic myself off of them, off Achilles and the 300, or Troy, and just stay ready. It's weird. I'm not scared of the lights. I'm not scared of the performance. To me, I'm still coming in as a B side to bring the upset, because if you look me up on YouTube, you'll see nothing but the bad. Like, it's nothing positive. None of the great fights I had. So it's kind of like, hey, all right, I got to show you now. I'm here in person. Now you got to see this person. So if you've been studying me on YouTube, that's the wrong place to study. That's the wrong place to look and feel, as you're going to get the upper hand, because I'm in front of you now. So now you got to see what's going on.
There's a YouTube video of Tom Brady. It's every interception he's ever thrown in his whole career. It's just a mixtape, right? Cut from one.
Yeah.
If you just watch that video, you think Tom Brady is the worst quarterback ever, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go by just videos that you see out of context on YouTube. It doesn't tell the whole story. And like I said, when you went in there in Frisco, and scored that knockout, we were like, wow, like this guy is not a one. His record is what it is, but this is not a 1-3 fighter. This is a legitimate, this is a good fighter right here. It doesn't matter what his record is.
Thank you.
I want to. Obviously, you're trained by Kendrick Relaford, who's a superstar in the Fort Worth boxing scene, right? Everyone knows who he is. Everyone respects him. Had a really, really good career as a heavyweight and a cruiserweight. Really well-respected guy. A great add to the Fort Worth boxing community, right? What's it like working with Kendrick day to day, and what kind of impact has that had on you?
Man, Kendrick, he's a great guy. Day to day, we work, as a fighter and a coach and trainer and manager. We do have our differences, but our differences always come in hand, because he's always looking out for the betterment of me and my career. Like, he never wants bad for me. He always wants the good. We work hard. Sometimes I get frustrated, because I feel like I'm doing enough, and he say, "Nah, man, he's not doing enough." So even when you're doing great, he'll still keep that chip on his shoulder, to make sure that we push harder, that we don't slack off, to make sure that we don't slip, that we don't get comfortable. Because once you get comfortable, it becomes hard. You get lazy. You start just regularly just trying to make it. And he's a great mentor as well. Like he's an excellent mentor. He helped me out, especially in these times of trouble when I'm in danger. He kind of keep me on the right path and the right up and up to make sure my mental state is great. That's the main thing. As in and out the ring, he makes sure our mentals is strong.
So I wanted to ask you, right? So you got kind of a late start in your pro career. You didn't turn pro till you're about 25. But I want to start, talking about your start in the boxing. You had 30 amateur fights or so. Did you just get into boxing? 'Cause that's how I got into boxing. I just like to fight. Like as a
Yeah,
kid, I just like to fight. Like I wasn't the fastest kid. I wasn't the best basketball player, so I couldn't really beat you in those things. But I like to fight. Like I'll fight you. So it kind of
yeah.
like, all right, let's get the kid to boxing gym. Like let's get him away from that and into it. Is that kind of how you got your start, or where did you get your start in boxing?
I really got my start because I was fighting a case. I was looking at 50 years, and I needed something to stay out the way. I needed something to keep me busy. I needed something so I wouldn't violate probation. And I needed to stay out of trouble, man. I needed something positive to do, something that'll keep me busy, something to keep my mind occupied. I wasn't scared to fight. I called my uncle one day. Was like, "Hey, Uncle Ken, I'm finna come train." I started training, and I never forget my first amateur fight. I had called my cousin Kendrick, and I was like, "Hey, man, can you train me?" And he was like, "Man, I'm not gonna train you until I see you fight." And so I actually went to an amateur fight in McKinney with no coach. It was crazy. I went out there with no coach, and he came and watched, and he was like, "All right, I'll train you." So that Monday we picked it up. But yeah, he came. He saved my life twice actually. It sounds as crazy as it seems. I was a little hard headed. You know, I ran by myself, did a lot of crazy things, but I was on my way down, and I gave him a call, and he was like, "Man, come on, I got you. We're gonna make sure that you fight. We're gonna keep you busy. We're gonna keep you on the up and up, and we're gonna make sure you do what you got and be successful as a man. So I can stay out the street, so I wouldn't have to keep looking over my shoulder, and I could start producing in a positive way."
You've certainly done that. Now you've won a couple fights in a row. You got your boxing career in order, but more importantly, you got your life in order, right? As a man, um, where do you want to go? Well, let's get into that, right? You had a pretty decent amateur career. You had 30 fights. Talk about your amateur career. And then when was the decision? You got the call for the Castaneda fight. What made you say, okay, I want to turn pro now? You talk about a little bit about your amateur career and then your decision to turn pro when that came about.
When that came about, I was fighting in the club, man. Like, okay, so I was fighting in the club. I had got jumped. And on that particular time, I remember seeing knives come out on me. I remember dudes hitting me with tables, chairs, and I remember sitting at home on the couch, just really talking to myself, like, man, is this the life I'm finna sign up for? I was kind of prepping myself for that lifestyle, for the next level, for whatever next happened, just happened. So as I'm mentally prepping myself I'm prepping myself for destruction. Basically, I could say I was prepping myself for destruction. Kendrick called me and he was like, "Say, man, I seen your story. You want to fight? Fight? Go come out here in Houston and fight." I didn't care about the money as much. I was just like, man, all right, let's go, let's rock and roll. Because I didn't have nothing else. I needed a career. I needed something to give my kids something to look forward to. I needed to keep myself out the way. I feel like once you look at death one too many times, you kind of you think way differently. You kind of prep yourself, and I got tired of prepping myself for either the penitentiary or for death. And Kendrick kept calling me. He called me that one time, and it changed my life. It changed the dynamics of my road in my life at that point. Because he didn't give up. He didn't give up on me when I needed him. Like I really, at that point, I needed him more than he probably knew that I needed. Because he stepped in at the right time, man. It was just the right time. I didn't care about how much training time I had. I didn't care about, hey, I don't have no camp. I'm not doing nothing. I've been out the gym. Because at that point, I was out of the gym for about 2 years at that point. And so it was like, hey, let's go get it. And the funny part to me when he was like, it was a Sunday, I'll never forget it. It was a Sunday, I'm laying on the couch. So I'm just waking up, I'm trying to heal my scars. And I wake up that morning, he called me, hey, let's go fight. He was like, man, do you want to fight? I was like, man, take the fight. And he was like, but you fight Thursday. Let's go there, man. I don't care. I need to be in the gym. I'll be there Monday. So I had Monday, Tuesday, And then Wednesday I had to go weigh in, and it's been history from there.
So, well, I mean, what kind of shape were you in at that point? Were you just sitting on the couch? I mean, were you staying in shape? Were you sparring? Were you running? I mean, was it like cold off the couch, like you fight a couple days, or where were you at that point when you got the
I
call?
was I was probably waking up from a hangover, man. Man, I wasn't doing nothing. Like I wasn't in the gym. Every now and then I pop up just to spar, just to make sure when I got in the street fight, I was solid. But at that point, I wasn't doing nothing, man. I was really just being drunk, just chilling. I was living the average street life at that point. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to as a fighter. I was caught up in the streets, heavy, just real heavy. Trying to make a dollar, but doing it the crazy way. Because I wouldn't back down from nothing, and I think that was one of the hard parts. It's just the warrior in me won't let me back down even from situations I knew I should have walked away from. I went head first into them with no regard of life or their life or nothing that has going on. And I knew I had kids, so we always had a plan to do something and leave something for our kids. And the way I was going, I wasn't finna leave nothing but heartaches for them. So when I woke up, yeah, I wasn't doing nothing. Like I was dead, just running the street. The average street guy life. I mean, I was doing it, and I wasn't doing nothing to be
We're doing
good
nothing
for nobody.
positive, yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
so,
I mean, Kendrick came in and he saved you. He's been, a great influence for you. I know we don't look past any opponent. You got a live opponent who, like I said, is awkward. Is a little tricky. But assuming that you do win, which you're expected to win, do you want to fight Bangerbet next? When do you want to, can we expect you to be back? And where do you want to go with your career after you win on the 11th?
wherever the cards may fall, I'm accepting challenges. Kendrick, I have a saying. Kendrick, he retired with 4 belts. I want to retire with 5. So whatever it takes to climb this mountain. I know it gets rough. I know it's rough. I've been in there with some of the greats, some people that I know that can just literally punch. So I understand what goes on in the ring. I understand the ins and outs, and I just want to go wherever the cards may fall. Like I trust him in my career. I get calls. Hey, anybody call me for a fight? I send them straight to him. I don't want to talk to nobody about a fight. When it comes to fighting and it comes to the progression and the steady movement of my fights, I trust him. We have this thing where I don't talk about the management or the business part. I mean, some may say that's dumb, but I say it's okay because I trust him. I trust him. My life is in his hands when it comes to this sport. So I'm highly confident that he makes great decisions for me to move me right within the sport. So I see how other fighters are moving, and I'm right now. I'm proving that I am ready. I'm going through the mud I'm going through the mud now, so that way when the mud dries, I can walk on concrete and be okay.
So you're back February 11th, headline the card in Southern Junction in Irving, Texas. For those who haven't seen you, maybe this will be the first time to see you. How would you describe your style in the ring? What kind of fighter are you?
Um, I don't know, man. It's a show. My thing is, as long as it's entertainment, I like to fight. So, however I need to do, whatever I need to do to pull it off, I'll pull it off. I can fight. I'm just there to fight. I'm trained well. I'm trained in all different aspects. It's no particular way that if I choose to fight, I choose to fight you how I need to do to pull off what I need to do and to win. But I'm coming to fight. That's my thing. Like they try to form me in one way, but it's kind of like I think my last session, I did pretty good. He was like, man, we at that point now where it's like we can't corner you. I mean, as long as I listen and do what I need to do, it'll be okay. But we can't just make you one style of fighter. We're here to fight. This is the fight game, and that's what we want to do. So, hey, if you want to brawl, it's me. I'm a fighter. I can take it. So it is what it is.
So you're obviously in great hands with Kendrick. He's keeping you busy, right? He's getting you good fights. Again, February 11th, headlining Southern Junction in Irving, Texas. Made Men Promotions is the promotion company putting it on. Where do they get tickets? Can they come see you at Dream Performance, or how do if the listeners want to come get tickets? How do they go about getting tickets?
They can get tickets. I'll share the link Next time when I get off, I'll share the link on Instagram. You can go to Mayman Productions or Promotions.com and grab your tickets, or grab them at the gate if you want to come and see me. Just make sure you mention my name, and we can go. Or if you just want to come and enjoy a good show for the Valentine's weekend, I promise I'll put on a good show. It's entertainment. I'm here to entertain, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to entertain you. Like I am what they say. I am the gladiator that's in the box. Are you not entertained? So that's my goal.
Emmanuel Tennison, tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
You can find me, type me in Emmanuel Tennison, or you can look me up at Gemini's World 15 on Instagram, or Emmanuel Tennison on Facebook.
Emmanuel Tennison, February 11th, Southern Junction, Irving, Texas. Thank you for your time. God bless, champ. Looking forward to it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gay. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right.